Hey everybody, Colin here. Going to be recapping my Week 11 picks and telling you about what I like in Week 12 in college football. So in Week 11 we split. We went 2 and 2 with a minus 0.27 units. We lost on the Oklahoma Baylor over 62.5. That was a minus 2. Michigan money line, we ended up winning 0.91 units. Iowa versus Minnesota, under 37.5. We lost a unit on that. And then in the Houston game, the minus 24.5, we actually went on a victory on that one, and that was a plus 182 for the units. So overall, average week, I think we got better picks this week. Let's get to them, all right? So for my first pick, we're going to go with some action. We're going to go CMU plus 2.5 versus Ball State. I got that at minus 110 this weekend. The line has moved significantly since I was able to get this. It's now at a minus 1.5 in favor of CMU. I like it up to minus 2.5. CMU should be able to control the game on the ground with Lou Nichols, who happens to be one of the top running backs in the nation, third in rushing yards. Ball State allows 170.6 rushing yards per game, which is 84th in the nation, and Nichols himself averages 130 against an average rush defense that's 88 in the country. That's their previous games. So I think this is going to go the way of Ball State early, but then expect CMU to bounce back. It could be a good time to find a live bet that swings back to the CMU plus money. The last two games, they've gone down by 14 in the first quarter, but keep in mind in the second quarter, they outscored their opponents 122 to 69 this season. So make sure that you keep an eye on this game in the first quarter and then play it on from there. So second pick this week, I have SMU plus 11.5 versus Cincinnati. I got that at a minus 108. Against the spread trends, SMU is 6-4 covering their last contest, and Cincy is 5-5, but they haven't covered their last 4. I think everyone's pretty much aware of how poorly Cincinnati's been playing. I think they'll still win, though. But SMU has a habit of making their losing efforts close. Both of their losses were within 7 points to quality opponents in Houston and Memphis. These are both conference opponents that have a lot of experience playing against SMU, so that's also to be added there as well, just like Cincinnati. And I think SMU I think they have the way to stick in with this. They only have one game with under 30 points scored this year, averaging 40 points per game. This tells me that SMU has the firepower to get back into this game if it gets away, or just to keep it close, closer than this 11.5 spread. Personally, I would put it more towards the 8.5 to 9.5 spread line. I think if you can get anything above that, that's where you should hop in. All right, next game, I got Michigan State versus Ohio State. Over 67.5, I got it at a minus 108. Even though I'm a diehard MSU fan, they cannot stop a nosebleed if it comes through the air. Their opponents average 350.8 passing yards per game. OSU averages 353.6. They have that three-headed monster of Olave, Smith, and Jigba, and Wilson. It keeps me up at night. The benefit, though, is that both offenses can really put up the numbers. Both are top in 15 in points per play. OSU is number 1 in the nation at a .667, and MSU is 15th in the nation at a .502. So both are 6-4 over under with MSU on a 3-game over streak, and OSU hitting the over last week versus Purdue. So I think we could it'll look good here, and it'll probably tick up a little bit too as we get closer to the game. Next game I have is Nebraska plus 10.5 versus Wisconsin. I got that at a minus 120. The line has moved pretty sharply into Nebraska's favor, now sitting at plus 8.5 on most books, showing that it's a good looking bet at this amount if you're able to get it over the weekend. Nebraska has the current always the bridesmaid, never the bride champion of college football this year. 5 of their 7 losses are within 7 points, and all of them are within 11. The only 11-point loss that they had was versus Ohio State, so that's worth noting here. Nebraska is very strong against the run. They only allow 133.3 rush yards per game, which is Iowa's identity as a whole on offense. They average 226.8 rush yards per game. That should really help keep Iowa out of the end zone and keep this one closer than the spread suggests. And my last one is the Oregon money line versus Utah. I got that at a plus 134. Throwing the rankings out the door here, guys, I think Oregon is simply the better team, and I think the resume suggests that outside of that Stanford loss, the Ducks have been one of the best teams in the nation by performance. They've won big, they've come back from big deficits, and they've won in Columbus, which cannot be discounted this year. And I know the College Football Playoff Committee hasn't discounted it either. So they're fighting for their playoff hopes, and they're fighting with even more emotion than I think Utah can account for. And they match up well here, too, statistically speaking, with the 12th in the nation Utah rushing attack against the 21st ranked rushing defense in the nation in Oregon. This strikes me as a very similar game to UCLA, if you remember that one. They kept Charbonnet pretty much under wraps the whole game, only allowing 110 rushing yards that game. So I think they're going to utilize a very similar strategy with Tavion Thomas this week. So keep an eye on that one. I've started to see that the money line odds have started to shift towards Oregon a little bit. So if you want to get on that one, I suggest getting on it sooner rather than later. All right, guys. Pretty quick video this week, but that's all I got for week 12. I tried to keep it simple and easy for you, not trying to overcomplicate things. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let's go ahead and win some money this week. All right, guys. See ya.